Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Certara Talks. I'm Dr. Suzanne Minton, and I'm a director of content strategy at Certara. Today, I'm here with my colleagues, Dr. Oksana Ilyich, David Wesche, Rajesh Krishna, and Paul Martin, and we are going to be talking about Rare Disease Day, which this year is on February 29th. So I'd like to ask this group, do you need the same clinical pharmacology program to support a rare disease drug development program as opposed to a program for common diseases?
For me, you definitely need to cover the same bases, get data in all the same bases you do for a large development or a bigger development. I think there's different ways to do it here, though, in rare diseases. So you're really looking to do smaller studies, quicker studies, cheaper studies. And so really on that basis, any opportunity you can find there to do that better is always a good thing. So some examples, sort of instead of doing formal renal impairment or hepatic impairment studies, you could be doing studies where you're trying to collect that data as covariates in a population analysis and do it that way. And then things like DDI area, instead of doing formal DDI studies, you could be doing PBPK to try and get that similar sort of information to inform. So I guess for me, just to summarize there, it really is a case of just trying to find alternative, ideally shorter ways to get to the same answer, but the same bases need to be covered. So.
And I would add that in essence, though, the drug, the molecule is immutable. It's our job to let that molecule declare itself in the special population or in the rare disease population, how it's working, how it's being handled, and those things that might be impact dosing ultimately. So yeah, it's important that we let the molecule declare itself so that we can establish safety and efficacy.
I think all of my colleagues have emphasized the concept of collaboration. And that is really a key aspect when we think about clinical pharmacology, collaborating with regulatory sciences and data sciences and or modeling and simulation. I think the cohesiveness of the interacting disciplines is very crucial for rare diseases because of the shorter runway in rare diseases compared to common diseases.
Absolutely. It sounds like collaboration, that the idea that drug development is a team sport requiring cooperation between the regulators and then these different drug development disciplines and patient groups is critical. Paul, I noticed that you mentioned PBPK and population PK to streamline rare disease drug development. These are two forms of biosimulation or modeling and simulation. For my last question, I was hoping the team could talk about how we can use modeling and simulation to help rare disease drug development programs.
So I take this one first as well, actually. So for me, there's sort of three strands here. So there's the systems pharmacology / biology area where you're very early in development trying to work out, is this drug got a chance in this indication? So that very early piece. And also within there trying to say, what sort of dose will we need? The next piece then is the PBPK that you just mentioned, Suzanne. So that's very much on the basis of, can we understand the DDI risk and inform that risk? So that's one big piece. But then also extrapolating to other populations as well. So whether it's different ethnicities or into pediatrics or even renal and hepatic impairment. So that extrapolation piece there. And then probably the last one, not the last one for me, the one I'm most excited about is the PopPK-PD. So that's really the case where you're using that to either select the dose or justify the dose, actually. So that's the other big item for me.
Yeah, I think one of the things that is quite near and dear to my heart is the whole concept of integration. Data integration is key. I want to stress the point of somewhat of a non-scientific concept, which is rare diseases. When we think about rare diseases, we think about small sample size, small population, questionable signal from noise. We think about those things. But I think in essence, when we look at the whole ecosystem, there's actually way too much data available that we are actually not leveraging. Understanding disease progression, natural history of disease. How do we model that? How do we integrate that model from pharmacology to payer? Because all of these concepts are interconnected. The interconnectedness of the models themselves is an opportunity for us. But also, I think as we build a critical pool of talent, one of the things that we should think about are those phenotypes as data integrators. We need more of them who can sense the opportunity to make a difference and who can take that conversation forward. That's where I think the whole essence of capitalizing on these kinds of modeling and simulation is fully brought to bear in the context of rare diseases.
Rajesh, I think that's a fantastic note to end on. From this conversation, it seems clear to me that it's the combination of human expertise from different disciplines as well as smart use of modeling and simulation technology that will be the key to help bringing treatments for rare diseases to patients faster. I'd like to thank my colleagues, Dr. Oksana Aliach, Dr. Paul Martin, Dr. David Weshey, and Dr. Rajesh Krishna for having a fantastic conversation about rare diseases. I'm Suzanne Minton. You've been watching Certara Talks. I'll see you next time.